Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and what a day it is in crypto. A number of things to talk about. First, as far as XRP, there's a very popular chart analyst who's highlighting what he's calling a mirror image in terms of chart formations, which signals that we are about to enter the expansion phase for XRP price. XRP price pretty much flat over the last 24 hours, over the last few days. Not a huge amount of activity there. That doesn't mean anything. The short-term action where it's flat, or even if there's downward price action, that doesn't mean anything. Crypto is volatile. But if you look at the chart formation, which I'm going to be highlighting in this video, you'll see that if this analyst is right, we're about to see some serious fireworks in the not-too-distant future at all. And on top of that, we got Bitcoin, which is just edging ever closer to hitting its all-time high near $65,000. So we got to talk a little bit about that too, and there's all sorts of interesting narratives in the news today surrounding crypto. But before going further, I do want to be clear that I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos all up on the internets. But these YouTube videos about crypto, they're just for fun. It's just a hobby. Now, as I record this, XRP is at $1.09. Bitcoin is at, get this, $63,448.86. I love to see that. Market cap for the asset class, $2.55 trillion. And Bitcoin dominance, not surprisingly, climbing even further to the upside at 46.88%. So Bitcoin's 24-hour all-time high. We're very close to it at the time of recording this. $63,491.53. The all-time high, for reference, though. It's $64,763.29. Now, at the time of recording, just for reference, in case anybody's curious, it is Tuesday, October 19th, 1:58 p.m. Central Standard Time, because I happen to live in the United States in the Midwest, so that's where I'm at. And XRP, again, like I said, this doesn't matter, but if you look over the last, this is a 7-day chart, it hasn't been doing that much. It's a little bit down overall the last few days. It doesn't matter, as you'll see in just a moment here. But how are the lemmings feeling? Yes, the typical retail speculator out there. Well, here's the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. They're feeling worse than yesterday. Yesterday, they were feeling extremely greedy at 78 out of 100. Now they're just feeling greedy at 75 out of 100. But it's good to be a lemming today. If you just are a follow-the-pack type of person and you don't really want to go through any sort of logical or analytical thinking ever in your life, you can just follow the herd. And right now, you're fine because you're feeling happy. Unfortunately, at some point, this chart will enter extreme fear again, and then you're not going to have a good time because you're not engaging in critical thinking and just logic in general, and you will have a bad time as a lemming at that point. But today's a good day for you if you are just a follow-the-pack kind of guy or gal. So there we are. Here's a headline, too, which highlighted something I actually covered just the other day. I thought I'd just mention it briefly. This is from the Daily Hodl. XRP gearing up for major rally as 2 low-cap altcoins carve out bottom, predicts top crypto analyst. And the part I wanted to mention was that this is from Credible Crypto. They note that he's calling for XRP in the short term to hit $1.35. And I've got a brand new update from him that's even more fantastic. I mean, it's good to see $1.35. But that's not something I know that like some people just, they don't get that excited about. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see any upward price action. Most people are, but I get it. It's not absolutely thrilling. But you just wait. I'm going to show you the chart in just a sec. Let me highlight this from the blockchain backer, though, my fellow XRP YouTuber, because narratives are fun, right? Well, check this out. We are getting positive Bitcoin news bombarded at us right now. Facebook chooses Coinbase. Grayscale will convert to ETF with ticker symbol Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Futures ETF launches today. At the bottom, though, China bans Bitcoin twice. Elon Musk, Tether, Deathcross, etc. Narratives. And so he's pointing out all this positive news from today versus all of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that the people in the world of crypto have been feeling over the last X number of months. Because this one, and here's the way I look at it, though, and I really do think this is generally what's going on. Whatever is happening in the moment, that's attributed to whatever the price action happens to be. That's it. It's usually not that this news is causing the price action. It's a reaction. And if you think of it, here, let me make some, let's just cover this. So what was the blockchain backer talking about here? Well, there's this Facebook news. Here's the headline from you today. Facebook begins piloting its crypto wallet in the US. And so Facebook has partnered up with Coinbase, and they're piloting a wallet, a crypto wallet on on Facebook, which I think is cool news. That's neat. That's positive for the whole crypto space. Let's see what comes of it. Wouldn't be surprised if regulators take a crack at them. But hey, you know, this is what they say they're doing, and positive news. So this is being attributed to the price action for Bitcoin. Then you've got this from Bloomberg. Grayscale files to turn biggest Bitcoin fund into an ETF, exchange traded fund. And then on top of that, the Bitcoin futures ETF began trading today. So all of this positive news. But what I insist is that if you go back even during the last few months while there was bearish stuff going on, there are all sorts of scary stories out there, don't get me wrong. But there were good developments. There were positive developments. People investing, this and that. You could find them, and those positive things, I believe, if the price action happened to have been good, would have been attributed to that good price action. You can always find the good and bad stuff. I'm just saying the negative stuff really gets applied when price is heading down, and when price is going up, you know, the good stories are, you know, the reason for it is attributed to that. And it seems silly to me, and it's the same thing with XRP. When XRP is going up, you know, whatever's happening in the moment, it must be that. Meanwhile, most of the time that XRP has been doing what it's been doing over the last few years, it has nothing to do with the news. You know, it really doesn't. And so it's always been interesting. But this is what narratives do. And so people look to this stuff, and I just thought it was worth highlighting. And so what the blockchain backers pointed out here is certainly not lost on me. Now take a look at this. This is from chart analyst Credible Crypto, and this is some fun stuff here. He tweeted this out just 14 hours ago. And this is what I was referencing in the beginning part of the video. If these two structures look similar, it's because they are. Almost mirror images, except the current consolidation is a larger, longer consolidation structure. Number one, consolidation precedes expansion. Number two, the greater the consolidation, the larger the expansion that follows. And this is something to take to heart. Consolidation, when you see basically when you see a cryptocurrency ranging, it's basically just trading sideways. It's still volatile because it's crypto. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. But it's mostly, if you look at it on a chart, it's mostly just going sideways. That's consolidation. And that is what happens before expansion, meaning move to the upside. And the greater, the longer the consolidation period, which is painful for people because people get impatient, but the greater that is, the larger the expansion that follows. And look at this chart. And by the way, that's just a fundamental true concept. This is not unique to XRP. But look at what he's highlighting here. Look at how we had what was then a local high in December when XRP got up to, how high did it get? Somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 cents, or I think it was around there. It's right where I'm circling if you're looking at the screen. And then obviously with the scary news with the SEC, it cratered back on down to a low of about 17 cents or so. But then you had this consolidation range, which is what he's drawn right here. And it gets getting more narrow and more narrow. And then, after that consolidation period, look at what happened. This happened this year. Look at this expansion. That's an impressive looking chart, actually. Just look at this chart in the vacuum. It looks pretty damn impressive. That is the expansion which led XRP from a recent low of 17 cents down here in late 2020 all the way up to about $2 earlier this year in April. Then we saw a correction to the downside. And the rest of the crypto market ended up going down too, so it was pretty well in tandem when that fell down. But what happened? What's been happening ever since then? Consolidation. And if you see what he's pointing out is that this consolidation portion that we're in, and even the top, it looks the same as what we just saw in this last portion going back to roughly December. And except for this time, it's the same. So it's the same chart formation. It's just taking longer. It's just dragging out. That's all that he's pointing out here, and that's highly relevant. And so what he's getting at here is the expansion to follow will be enormous, which he has been talking about for a long, long, long time. That is what's coming. And so it's going to be a lot bigger than leading up to just about the $2 range. So let's go a little bit further. Somebody named Nick wrote the following in response to this. If you project the April high of $1.92 from the December low of 17 cents and apply it to the June low 50 cents, all you get is approximately $5.70. Can you explain how you get to $10 or even $20 to $30 from this chart? Which is certainly, that's a fair enough question right there. If you're just saying it's going to perform roughly the same, how do you get to higher than $5.70? Well, Credible Crypto wrote the following in response. The move to $10 plus is not going to happen from this leg of the expansion. This next leg should take us close to / maybe a bit past new all-time high. there will be more periods of consolidation / expansion that follows. So my friends, he's saying this next mega burst up, which is going to be absolutely glorious. I'm going to have fun making videos about this and tweeting about it. It's going to be a blasty blast because I've been waiting for this for years, damn it. I'm going to have some fun with this. But what happens, that's not going to be the final move to the upside, so says Credible Crypto. That's his expectation. We are going to see a bit of a pullback, but that is not going to be the final leg up. And then Nick responded to that and wrote, okay, so you're anticipating something like $4 this year, then back down to, say, $2 during a consolidation in S1 2022, then back up to $10 in S2 2022. So basically a 6-month cycle kind of thing, question mark. And by the way, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but S1 and S2, I was like, I've never seen anyone write that I can recall. So I Googled it, and it means semester 1 and S2 is semester 2. And it's supposed to be the average of the price for it's like S1 would be the average price for Q1 and Q2. S2, semester 2, would be the average for Q3 and Q4. I don't even feel like he's talking about averages here, which is why, and additionally, it kind of confused me. But usually when people are talking about a half of a year, you'll see H1 or H2. So I don't know if it's just something I wasn't familiar with, but I had to Google that one, honestly. I had not seen that before. I don't know if that's regularly used in the world of finance or something like that, but I honestly, in all of my years of following chart analysts, I happen to have not come across that. So I don't know, maybe you guys have seen it, and I'm just the idiot that doesn't know, but I just thought I'd mention it. So anyway, Credible Crypto then responded to that and said, not necessarily, expecting $10+ this cycle, not sure how long it will take, ideally hitting $20 to $30. So the targets haven't changed. He's still expecting minimum of $10, upwards of $20 more ideally, because he is one of the people that thinks that Bitcoin is going to go much, much higher. So you're talking about $100 and something thousand range. I can't remember where he thinks that he said it's going to top off, but I'm pretty sure I saw him at least talk about somewhere in the $150,000 range. Just pulling from memory, I could be mistaken there, but I believe that's accurate, which is part of the reason why he's thinking, yeah, XRP $20, $30 makes sense. But if you're talking about Bitcoin only peaking around $75,000, $80,000 like the blockchain backer thinks, then $20 to $30 seems like a bit of a stretch because there won't be as much money to flow through all of the altcoins, including XRP. So that would seem like a bit of a stretch at that point. But no, if you're talking about these higher Bitcoin price levels, that doesn't sound wacky to me in the least. And especially if you're talking about subsequent market cycles, getting up there or even higher, $40, $50 XRP. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but it doesn't sound bonkers to me, especially if you're talking about a subsequent market cycle. And so I think for those that end up holding, especially if you're one of the people that's actually going to hold that long, I mean, more power to you, but I don't plan to do that because I think there's going to be a massive pullback after this bubble inflates and pops. But I just have a feeling like the people that happen to hold it through the next market cycle, they'll make even more. But damn, you got to wait a whole lot longer. That's going to be at least another several years in all likelihood, one would think. And then there's this from chart analyst Kaleo. Bitcoin price discovery on deck. And so it's another analyst who thinks that we're going to be seeing higher levels. So what he's charting right here is just showing expectations of, we're talking like November, getting up to like over $80,000. And now he does think that he is one of the analysts also, and most analysts think this, to be honest with you. Most analysts do think it's going to be over $100,000 Bitcoin. And yeah, he's one of the ones that's thinking, more like maybe $200,000 Bitcoin. This is what most analysts think. And by the way, you may have heard me say many times that I'm like, whatever the masses think, that's probably wrong. Just understand that when I say that, I'm talking about your typical retail investor that's clueless. It's a follow the herd mentality. As far as big picture, because this is like more on a macro level, when I'm talking about a bunch of analysts on a macro level coming to the same conclusion, that's a different category of species as far as I'm concerned. That is not what I'm talking about. Yes, there can be wisdom to groupthink, which is what I tend to see with the analysts that I follow. But that's very different than the emotional lemmings out there responding to the day-to-day volatility. That's where I'm like, okay, the masses are probably wrong, because they typically are. But when you're talking about these analysts, I find that they're typically more right than not. Whatever the group thinks, it's more probable, though not certain, it's more probable that what they think will happen ends up happening. Here is a tweet I shared the other day from chart analyst Harry within the XRP community, who he called the biggest XRP bull run in history, from 20-something cents to almost $4. He also called the very top on January 4th, 2018, said, okay, that's it. And it did go back down. And we haven't seen that ever since. But he called it. He called it. So he's very well known in the XRP community for that. And he said on the 17th, Bitcoin, new all-time high and breakout above $40,000 in the works. And so he doesn't tweet about price action, his expectations all the time, but when he does, I certainly pay attention. And I saw that and I was like, yup, okay, well, we're about there. We're already about there. It's only been 2 days. We're about there. And then he tweeted this out earlier this morning at 6:12 a.m. Bitcoin distribution and reaccumulation over a 5-month period between February and July. August was the month to scale back in. Last week's week 1 close above April's high is now major support, in my opinion. Very easy risk reward from here. Here are the targets. Remember what happened last time. And here's the targets that he's sharing. It's these numbers in blue right here. So we're already above this one, $60,000. And I'll use round numbers for this. Next one, $73,000. Next, $97,000 for Bitcoin. And the last one that he charted here, $120,000 for Bitcoin. So another analyst here, who was very correct about XRP last market cycle, mind you, thinks Bitcoin is going to be heading up to $100,000 plus dollars. In this case, $120,000. I hope that's right, because that just means that much of a higher price for XRP. And I know it sounds impossible while it's low, but this is how it always works in crypto. It seems impossible, and it's never going to happen until it finally does. That's just how it is, and it happens out of nowhere and very quickly. So all of the suffering that everyone's been going through, and all of the difficult patience that are, I get it. Almost there, according to these analysts that I follow. We'll see if they're all right, but that's what they're saying. Then there was this from analyst Plan B, who shared the following with his 1.1 million followers. He simply wrote today $63,000 and then a little check mark emoji thing. And he was retweeting something he shared from June 20th, which reads as follows. Bitcoin is below $34,000, triggered by Elon Musk's energy FUD and China's mining crackdown. There is also a more fundamental reason that we see weakness in June and possibly July. My worst case scenario for 2021, its price on-chain based. August, $47,000. September, greater than $43,000. October, greater than $63,000. November, greater than $98,000. And December, greater than $135,000. Now, mind you, he was right about August and September, and he tweeted that back in June. And I hope he's right. I really do hope he's right. You're talking about in roughly within 2 months, Bitcoin at $135,000, like more than double where it is right now. I'm telling you, if that happens, I'm going to be losing my ever-loving mind. Even if XRP hasn't budged really much at all at that point, and that's an if. In all likelihood, it'll move to some degree by then. But even if it doesn't, I will be losing my ever-loving, simple little moon Lambo mind, because I know what that means for XRP. I know that money's going to bleed out of Bitcoin into alts, including XRP, and it's going to get ridiculous. So that's why for me, like, whatever altcoins I hold, if they're just moving sideways and Bitcoin's going up, I don't get stressed. I don't feel like I need to FOMO in anything, because that's what idiots do. Instead, I just, no offense, like, everyone's done that, right? But I'm just saying, like, I don't think it makes sense. So I'm not doing that. I will just get excited and be like, oh, okay, mine's next. Like, that's what my simple little moon Lambo brain's going to be thinking. And I think that makes all the sense in the world. So lots to be excited about here. I'll go ahead and wrap up here, but would love to hear what your sentiment and thoughts are and expectations in terms of price action. But I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon Lambo.